What is going on? Everybody, welcome back to the channel. If you are a Dallas Cowboys fan, you are in the right place. Because today we have got a ton to talk about. And I mean a ton. Because the offseason is heating up in a major way, and the Dallas Cowboys are starting to make some moves, or at least we are getting some very strong indications about the direction this team is heading in 2025 and beyond. So before we get into everything, I need you to do me a huge favor. Smash that like button right now, subscribe to this channel if you have not already, and turn on those post notifications because we are dropping Cowboys content every single day, and you do not want to miss any of it. Especially right now when things are moving fast and there is news breaking left and right. So let us jump right into it, because we have got two major topics to cover today. First, we are going to talk about a Cowboys insider who has named 5 free agent targets for this team, and one of those names is absolutely massive. We are talking about Trey Hendrickson. And then after that, we are going to get into some coaching hire updates, because the Cowboys have been making some moves on that side of things as well. And there are some very interesting names being added to this coaching staff. So buckle up because this is going to be a loaded video. Alright, so let us start with the free agency side of things, because this is where it really gets exciting for Cowboys fans who have been begging this front office to go out and be aggressive in free agency for years now. And look, I get it. The Cowboys have historically not been the most aggressive team. When it comes to free agency, Jerry Jones has always talked about building through the draft. And while that is a great philosophy in theory, the reality is that you need to supplement your roster with free agent additions, especially when you have clear holes on your roster that need to be filled. And right now, the Dallas Cowboys have some very clear holes that need to be addressed if this team is going to compete for a championship in 2025. So, a well-known Cowboys insider has come out and named 5 specific free agent targets that the Cowboys should be pursuing. And I have to say, when I saw this list, I got genuinely excited. Because these are not just random names, these are players who would actually fill specific needs on this roster and would make this team significantly better. So let us go through each one of them. The biggest name on this list, and the one that has everybody buzzing, is Trey Hendrickson. Now, if you do not know who Trey Hendrickson is, then let me educate you, because this man is an absolute monster. Coming off the edge, Trey Hendrickson plays defensive end for the Cincinnati Bengals, and this past season he was one of the most dominant pass rushers in the entire National Football League. We are talking about a guy who recorded 17.5 sacks in 2024, which led the entire NFL. Let me say that again. He led the entire NFL in sacks with 17.5. That is an elite number that puts him in the conversation with some of the best pass rushers in the game today. And the reason this is so significant for the Cowboys is because pass rush has been a major concern for this team. The Cowboys lost some key pieces on their defensive line, and while Micah Parsons is still one of the best players in football, you cannot rely on one guy to generate all of your pass rush pressure. You need multiple threats on the defensive line so that offensive lines cannot just double-team one player all game long. And that is exactly what Trey Hendrickson would bring to this defense. Now imagine for a second what this defense would look like with both Micah Parsons and Trey Hendrickson rushing the quarterback from opposite sides of the formation. I mean, think about that for a minute. You would have 2 of the most dominant pass rushers in the NFL on the same defensive line. Quarterbacks would have nowhere to run and nowhere to hide. And the beautiful thing about adding Hendrickson is that it would take so much pressure off of Micah Parsons, because right now, teams can game plan specifically to slow down Parsons. They can chip him with tight ends. They can slide protection his way. They can run the ball away from him. But if you add Trey Hendrickson on the other side, now you have a situation where the offense has to pick their poison. Do you want to try to block Parsons, or do you want to try to block Hendrickson? Because you are not going to be able to successfully block both of them on every single play. And that is the kind of pressure that wins football games, that is the kind of pressure that changes the trajectory of a franchise. Now, the question that everybody is going to ask is, can the Cowboys afford Trey Hendrickson? And that is a legitimate question, because Hendrickson is going to command a massive contract on the open market. We are talking about a guy who just led the league in sacks. He is going to be one of the most sought-after free agents this offseason, and there are going to be multiple teams throwing huge money at him, so the Cowboys would need to be willing to open up the checkbook and pay top dollar for this kind of player. And look, I know that Jerry Jones has been criticized in the past for not spending money in free agency, but this is the kind of move that could change everything. This is not signing some mid-tier player to a modest deal. This would be a statement signing that tells the rest of the league that the Dallas Cowboys are serious about winning a championship right now. And honestly, I think the Cowboys have the cap space to make this work if they are smart about how they structure the deal. You can do a front-loaded contract, you can spread out the guaranteed money, you can get creative with the cap and make this happen if you truly want to. And I believe that Jerry Jones and the front office know that they need to make a splash this offseason because the fans are hungry for it and the team needs it. The second free agent target on this list is equally important and addresses another major need on this roster, and that is the offensive line. Now, I know what you are thinking. The Cowboys have always been known for having one of the best offensive lines in football, and that was true for a long time, but things have changed in recent years, and the offensive line has taken a step back. And when your offensive line is not performing at a high level, everything else on offense suffers. Your quarterback gets hit more, your running game suffers, your play action becomes less effective, everything is connected, and it all starts up front in the trenches. So the insider has identified a top-tier interior offensive lineman as a free agent target for the Cowboys, and this makes all the sense in the world because the Cowboys need to shore up their guard and center positions if they want to have a dominant offensive line again, and adding a proven veteran who has played at a high level in the NFL would immediately upgrade this unit and give the Cowboys the kind of protection and run blocking they need to be a top-tier offense. The third name on this list addresses the safety position, and this is another area where the Cowboys have a clear need. The secondary has been a talking point for Cowboys fans for a while now, and while the team has some good pieces in the secondary, they need to add a playmaker at the safety position, someone who can cover the deep part of the field, someone who can come up and make plays in the run game, and someone who has the ball skills to create turnovers. And the free agent safety market this year has some very interesting options, and the Cowboys insider has identified a specific target who would fit perfectly in this defense. Now, I am not going to reveal every single name on this list because I want you to stay tuned and keep watching. But I will tell you that the safety target is someone who has been very productive over the last several seasons and would immediately become one of the best players in the Cowboys secondary. And when you think about what Mike Zimmer was building on defense before the coaching changes and what the new defensive staff might want to do, having a versatile safety who can play multiple roles in the defense is going to be absolutely critical. The fourth target on this list is a wide receiver, and now I know that the Cowboys have CeeDee Lamb, who is obviously one of the best receivers in the NFL, but you cannot just have one elite receiver and expect your passing game to dominate. You need depth at the position. You need a legitimate number 2 option who can win one-on-one matchups, who can take the top off the defense, and who can step up and make plays when the defense is focused on taking CeeDee Lamb away. And we have seen this time and time again in the NFL. The best offenses have multiple weapons at receiver. Look at what teams like the Eagles and the 49ers have done by surrounding their quarterbacks with multiple playmakers at the receiver position, and the Cowboys need to follow that same blueprint. So adding a quality free agent receiver to pair with CeeDee Lamb would immediately make this passing attack more dynamic and more difficult to defend. And there are some very good options available on the free agent market this year, so the Cowboys need to be aggressive and go get one of them. And the fifth and final target on this insider's list addresses the linebacker position and specifically the run defense. Because while the Cowboys have focused a lot on their pass rush, in recent years, the run defense has been an area of concern, and you cannot win in the NFL if you cannot stop the run. Teams will just pound the football right at you all game long, control the clock, keep your offense off the field, and grind you down. And we saw that happen to the Cowboys multiple times last season, where teams were able to run the ball effectively against this defense and control the tempo of the game. So adding a linebacker who can come in and shore up the run defense would be a huge addition for this team. And the insider has identified a specific target who is known for being one of the best run-defending linebackers in the league and would immediately upgrade that aspect of the Cowboys' defense. Now, what I love about this list of 5 targets is that it addresses multiple positions of need. It is not just focused on one side of the ball or one position group. It is a comprehensive approach to improving this roster through free agency. And that is exactly what the Cowboys need to do. This offseason, they cannot just make one move and call it a day. They need to make multiple moves across multiple positions to fill the holes on this roster and put themselves in a position to compete for a championship. And I think the fact that a Cowboys insider is putting this list out there tells us that the front office is at least considering being aggressive in free agency, and that should give Cowboys fans some hope that this offseason is going to be different from off-seasons past. But here is the thing, and I want to be real with you guys, because I always keep it 100 on this channel, wanting to sign these players. And actually signing them are two very different things. The Cowboys are going to have competition for all of these players, especially someone like Trey Hendrickson, who is going to be one of the most coveted free agents on the market. There are going to be teams willing to pay crazy money to get Hendrickson, and the Cowboys are going to have to decide if they are willing to match those offers or if they are going to let him go to another team. And this is where Jerry Jones and the front office really need to step up and show that they are committed to winning, because Cowboys fans are tired of hearing about building through the draft and being patient and waiting for the right time to make a move. The right time is now. This team has a championship-caliber roster if they fill the holes, and free agency is the fastest way to do that. So I am going to be watching very closely to see what the Cowboys do when free agency opens, and I will be right here bringing you all the updates as they happen. Now let us shift gears and talk about the other big piece of news coming out of Dallas, and that is the coaching hires, because the Cowboys have been making some moves on the coaching staff, and there are some very interesting names being added to this team. And look, coaching matters a lot more than some people think. You can have all the talent in the world on your roster, but if you do not have the right coaches to develop that talent, to put players in the right positions to succeed, and to make the right adjustments during games, then all that talent is going to be wasted. And the Cowboys have clearly recognized that they needed to make some changes on the coaching staff this offseason, because we are seeing new names being brought in, and some of these hires are generating a lot of buzz around the league. Now, before I wrap this up, I want to make one more point about Trey Hendrickson, because I really cannot overstate how significant this potential signing would be for the Dallas Cowboys. This is a player who is in his prime, who just had the best season of his career, and who would immediately become one of the best players on the Cowboys roster. And the impact he would have on this defense cannot be measured just in sacks and stats, because his presence on the field would change the way opposing offenses game plan against the Cowboys. You would see more quick passes, more screens, more running plays designed to get the ball out quick before Hendrickson and Parsons can get to the quarterback, and that would play right into the hands of the Cowboys defense, because those quick short plays are easier to defend than deep shots down the field. So the ripple effect of adding Hendrickson would be felt across the entire defense and would make every other player on that side of the ball better. And that is why he is the #1 target on this list. And that is why the Cowboys need to do everything in their power to make this signing happen. All right, everybody, that is going to do it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. And I hope you are as excited as I am about the potential moves the Cowboys could make this offseason. Remember to smash that like button. It really helps the channel grow and helps us reach more Cowboys fans who want to stay up to date on all the latest news and rumors. Subscribe if you have not already, and turn on those notifications so you never miss a video, because I promise you, we are going to be covering everything that happens with the Cowboys this offseason, from free agency to the draft to training camp and beyond. And I want you to be right here with me for all of it. So thank you for watching, thank you for your support, and as always, go Cowboys. I will see you in the next one. Peace.